This is my first video. Hopefully this mic's picking up really well. I wasn't planning on doing a video first. I was just planning on hopping on a live stream. But I've been watching a lot of Apex tier list videos, and I just don't agree with a lot of the takes on some of the characters. So I'm gonna do my own. I think this is the only right list personally. I may be a little biased because it's my opinion, but we're gonna go with it. So I'm just gonna go for each tier. S is obviously like the best of the best. I don't think there's any legend that really needs to be changed or is too OP, or I'd make like a separate tier above this saying like broken. Then we have A for balanced, of course. And then B's like a small buff, like someone that just needs like a small change. That might make a couple recommendations, or like mention a couple changes I would do personally. And then C's, they just need a big buff. And then D is like a rework or like Revenant Reborn, like a whole character revamp. So we're gonna start just in the order here. We'll go with Ashe. Ashe is a character I mained for a while. I got about 500 kills on her. I've only been playing Apex seriously for about a year now, and she's pretty good. I got her heirloom. She's not, I say pretty good, but she needs some work. I would say buff. I don't think her kit needs to be reworked like Revenant, where it's almost completely different. Things I would change is maybe an extra charge to her tether, like how Fuse has 2 charges, that she can like use a second one. Her ult needs some work. I think her passive is great, but her ult maybe a longer distance, or I don't know. I want to make it like Wraith's, because I don't want it to be like a copycat character, but maybe just go farther. I don't know what else you can do with it personally, but that's what I would like to see. All right, next would be Ballistic. I played him a little bit when he came. I got 100 kills to him. Where would I put him? I put him in buff too. I'd do small buff. I think he just needs a small buff. Some of these I didn't think through all the way before I made this video, but I like his ultimate, especially like this year, or this season I should say, with the disruptor rounds and the alternator, and like the Havoc being available, the turbocharger. Like there's some guns that you can use that gold hop up that make it really good, even the PK. I think like the movement speed in the alt's good. Having the third weapon's nice, but you don't pull it out unless it's you use the alt. So maybe at that point you might as well just have one of your guns in your slot become a gold weapon if the third weapon can't put any attachments on it. If that makes sense, like what's the point of having a third gun if it's only really useful in the alt? So maybe make it so you can have like one attachment, or I don't know, because then you could put like a sniper in your back pocket of like a 2 to 4 or something. Yeah, I think his passive's pretty good, and his tac's okay. Like his tac is, it needs maybe another like buff. I don't know, maybe you could give it an extra charge like Ashe. But yeah, Bangalore I think is balanced. I think she's great. I don't think you have to touch her at all. Her ult's good. They did nerf it a little bit, but I don't think that's big enough to change where she places. Her passive's good, and I like her smoke. There's a lot of people that play Bangalore that don't know how to use their smokes and get me killed, or just don't benefit the team, and just a hindrance almost. All right, so Bloodhound is one of my mains, and I'm a little biased when it comes to him. He's probably my number one, honestly. I'm gonna say A. I think he's balanced. I think he could fit into any team comp really well. His ultimate's really good. I don't think you have to change him at all. The White Raven's really good. Yeah. Catalyst, I would say, is balanced. Just all around really good. You can block doors. His ult is just really good at covering lines of sight and all that. And yeah, it's really good for rotating and keeping the cover as you rotate in like open fields. Caustic is next. Caustic, I think he's balanced too. I know people say it depends on the map, but he's just really hard to play against depending on like in certain areas of the map. And his gas can always just be like stops people from pushing up sometimes, especially if he's well placed. His ult's pretty good. I just think he's all around a good player and character, and being able to scan the control beacon, and find zone along with Catalyst, those are big. I think that's the best class perk. So Crypto, I think Crypto needs to be reworked because his pick rates are so low. I like the idea of the drone and I want to man him so bad. I got his heirloom and all that, just kind of future proofing. But I really want him to get buffed and maybe just even reworked. I just don't know what they would do. So you kind of want to keep the drone as part of his character, so they'd have to find ways of that. Maybe make it so it kind of moves on its own. I'm not sure. I want to increase the range because the range isn't the problem. Like, you can fly the drone pretty far. So I don't know, just some ideas. Fuse, I think he needs to be buffed. Mainly his ultimate. I think the knuckle clusters are fine. Yeah, and I think his tack's fine. His passives are fine. I think it's just his ult that needs to be reworked. Yeah, because being able to carry extra grenades plus you have the knuckle clusters is great. I think it's mainly his ult that needs to be changed, personally. And then we got Gibby. I think Gibby is balanced. Yeah. I'm going to move Fuse up because I put him in buff, but I think it's more of a small buff for his just ultimate. But Gibby's really good. Ultimate's good. They buffed it. His being able to res inside the dome's good itself. He's got the gun shield. Yes, he is a bigger legend. I suck at playing with him. I got his heirloom and got 500 kills, and I just don't play great with him. Like, I have moments, but overall, I just think he's a really good character. Horizon is one of the few S tier characters. I think she's definitely balanced. Maybe a small nerf. I wouldn't say she's broken, but if you really want like most of your characters to sit in A, I'd nerf her just a touch. But I think she's overall really balanced. A really good Horizon's hard to play against, and she fits really well in team comps. So yeah, she's great. Lifeline needs a buff. A bigger buff than a small one. I think she needs like at least a knockdown shield size shield around the body that is resin. Like, I'm not saying it has to go full Newcastle shield or her old shield I saw videos of, but she needs that, and she needs a new ult. I wouldn't say rework entirely, like not a complete Revenant Reborn kind of thing, but she needs a new ult, maybe something close to like Watson's Pylon, or whatever the heck that's called, where it regenerates shields. I'm not sure, or just the care package later on in the game really doesn't do much other than providing you a purple shield if your team has full blues. Next is Loba. I think Loba, I'm going to say S. I don't think she's broken at all. I think she's in a great spot. Being able to use her ult to, when you craft the banner, to run away from, not run away, but, distance yourself from where you crafted them and use your ult to get it. Like, if you have a team chasing you, is great. To get their banners. Of course, support is one of the better perk packages too for characters, and I think she's great where she is. She's good early game and late game because sometimes you just don't have shields or syringes or bullets, or you might need a certain gun end game because it's like open field, or you're not playing in a tight building, so you might not need a shotgun, but you might need like a 30-30. I think that's just great being able to switch, and for shield swaps as well. Mad Maggie, I think, is an A. I think she's balanced. I think she's in a good spot. Shotguns have gotten better and buffed, and her ult is really good. Sometimes it catches people off guard, and being able just to use it to rush even if it doesn't hit them and they're just healing behind cover, is great. I wouldn't change her at all. Her attacks are really annoying. Extremely annoying. I think Mirage, I know Mirage has got to be reworked. They've tried buffing him and putting him in line. Like, the reason I put him in D, like, a good Mirage is like a B. But, like, I don't know. I just don't feel like his kit works really well, especially in the higher tiers of, like, ranked. And, overall not terrible, but it just needs to change. Newcastle also goes in S. I think he's very difficult to play against, depending on where you are. Like, if you're not up close, if he's just pulling that person back and resing him, sometimes it's a pain in the butt. Especially if that gold knockdown shield, if he gets that res off, you're not just fighting Gibby or like shooting at Gibby to down him. You have to down someone that's got like half their health left and half their shield. So it's like you're basically fighting two full health enemies almost. So that leaves us with Octane and some other ones. So move on. We got Octane. I think Octane's a B. I don't know what you do. Maybe make the distance where you can jump with the jump pads faster. I know it doesn't feel like it goes really far compared to some of these other characters. He does lose a lot of health due to his tack. but you do get it back. I don't know. Maybe you can make it so you take less health or lose less health with the attack, but overall, I don't think there's a lot you can do with his kit to make him better. But like a really good Octane, especially when they're using their tack well and they got like good damage just to like push you, can be scary sometimes if you're not ready. I think Pathfinder's an A. What keeps him in A is he really doesn't have a true passive, but overall, like, well, I guess he has the care package scan. Yeah, so never mind. I think he's S, honestly. Pathfinder is really annoying. If someone can really use his grapple, and I don't even know, just his ult sometimes can be really frustrating because he's like the perfect third party character, especially because that attack goes so, or his ult goes so far. Like you can go so far of it, and then being able to get another one off a care package, it's really good for rotating too. Yeah, I'm gonna put him in S. Not broken. Rampart, she needs a buff. I know she's using ALGS a little bit. I'm not sure why. I don't really watch a lot of ALGS yet, but I want to get into it. Sheila, if ready and like pre-aimed and already shooting, melts, and you could down someone like almost instantly. Her walls are okay. They're not really great in open fields. I feel like she's really good at buildings. Her passive with the light machine guns isn't really that great. Yeah, I think she needs buff. I don't think she needs a rework like Mirage and Crypto do. I feel bad even saying Mirage needs or not a Mirage, or Crypto. Can't talk. Crypto needs a rework, but I feel like he does. And then we got Seer, which is my second main. Used to be my main. I think he needs a small buff. And hear me out. I know people are going to say, he's broken and all that. I feel like they nerfed him into the ground. So, like if you're just an average Seer, you're probably, like, a C-tier Seer. But I feel like they should have kept his passive where it is. Because, being honest, like, big complaint in Ranked is people ratting. And I don't think his passive was that broken. Like, if you're ratting, you're mainly ratting to get, higher placement for Ranked. And sometimes it's like, it sucks because sometimes you're just trying to get a jump on a player. Like, they're chasing you. You try to hide in the corner to see if they'll run past you so you can shoot them in the back. But I feel like you didn't need to nerf his passive. His attack, of course, yes, and his ult, yes. But if I were to buff him, which I think he just needs a little one because I feel like they went a little too far, is either buff the passive back to where it was or increase the throw distance of his ult, because sometimes I'd be trying to throw that and I cannot throw it like that far at all. Like I'm trying to like launch it and like 2 feet in front of me, and I'm like, okay, great, wonderful, awesome. Like it's not behind cover or anything. They're just gonna shoot at it. So like being able to at least throw it far enough where I can throw it behind cover would be great. Especially because it's really easy to see. It's not like very tiny or anything like that. I think Valkyrie is A. I think she's really balanced. I think she's great the way she is. I don't think you need to change her. I know people make the argument that there's jump towers and evac towers. I don't think that harms her at all, because it's just like she can hold a heat shield or she can hold the mobile. Like if you have her on your team, she don't need an evac. Like sometimes it's nice to carry more than one evac. Sometimes my team will carry all three of us will carry evacs just because I think it's more useful than a heat shield, especially if you're rotating like you should be, especially in ranked. But like being able to have someone to be like, all right, well you have an evac as your ult, so just carry the mobile or carry a heat shield. It saves you having to carry a survival slot item that you don't typically need. And plus, her jetpack is great, especially for buildings, like with balconies and stuff like that. And her attack's really good too. Like you weaken somebody, they're behind a box, you can use it. I think she's great. Don't need to touch her. And then Vantage is a tough one. Where would I put Vantage? I just don't like Vantage. I think her attack's pretty good. I wouldn't touch that. And her passive, which I think's seeing the shields and stuff like that with her ult, and seeing people in the team, that's good. I wouldn't touch that. That's some really good information, especially if you're playing like high tier ranked and you just want to know if you could push a fight, especially when you're trying to get like a preferred location or setup late zone. Like if you're in the final zone, you really want to build in. you want to like take it from a team that like helps you be able to tell, all right, well, this might be a fight we can take. Her ult's really good too. I feel like she's balanced, honestly. I don't feel like there's anything you could do. You don't want to buff the damage on the sniper, because if you team shot of that person's good as dead. If you like follow up shots quickly, I think her tac's good. Yeah, I wouldn't change her at all. I think she's balanced. I just feel like she's not a prefer, like her pick rate's low because one, she's got the biggest hitbox probably out of all the female characters, and she's not situational, but I don't know. It's just like people prefer movement mostly. Like you'll see a lot of movement. I don't know. I might have to start trying to give I might have to give Vantage a shot. I feel like she might work in pubs, or not pubs, ranked for me. Pubs I wouldn't use her, but I would say she's balanced. I wouldn't change anything in her kit. All right, we got 3 more. We got Wattson. I mained her for a little bit. I have like 300 kills on her. Nothing crazy. 300 and 500 kills aren't crazy. That's like most of my characters is around there. I got a couple in the thousands. I think Wattson is balanced. I know people might not agree with some of these picks, but like, hear me out. Like, I know she's very situational because you got to play her in a building, but in like ranked, that's great. And like her ult where she can recharge shields and then also block grenades and like ults and stuff like that, I think that's great too. And her fences stop teams from coming in sometimes, and you can finesse the defenses. I think she doesn't need to change. I think she's balanced. I think she's in a great spot. And when I say tier list, I don't mean like these legends are gonna get you a ton of kills and it's gonna be great for pubs. I'm like thinking ranked when I make this list, and like, are they good at what they do? And I think she's really good at what she does. I think she's the second best controller legend. I think a little bit better than Caustic, not as good as Catalyst. And then Wraith. I think Wraith's in a really good spot too. Wraith's balanced. I wouldn't change anything to her. Her portal's really good. Her passive is kind of stupid. Not stupid. It like works. It's nice to know when someone's looking at you. But like when my friend Terrence plays, my best friend Terrence, we play together a lot. When he uses Wraith, I usually don't get that cue a lot from her. Like sometimes you know, you'll hear the characters talking. I never really get that from his Wraith. I don't know why. Like occasionally I'll hear it from him, but it's very like hit or miss if you actually end up hearing that voice line sometimes. So I think passive sucks, but ult and tac are really good. Like being able to get in and out of a fight to open up some damage, be a really good entry. The portal's good for like, you know, rotating, getting out of fight, getting into fights, you know, lots of stuff. Not taking damage from a storm if you're trying to get out real quick. And last one is Revenant. Just got reborn. It's really early, and I haven't played him at all. It's been a couple days. I've just never been interested in playing Revenant. From what I've seen and playing against him, though, his ult can be really annoying, especially if you're by yourself and you're like usually I'm a secondary fragger, and I like to play like the off angle and flanks. If he pushes me, and I'm not close enough to my team where they can team shoot with me, I'm pretty much gonna probably die if he has some really good shots. And like I don't have any good cover. His ult is really good in my opinion. His tactical, the jump is really good too, and I think the passive is great too. I haven't seen many people do the climbing, but I could see where that could come into play. But yeah, I'm gonna put him in A. Overall majority, I think a lot of these legends are balanced. I would say the only one that might need a slight nerf is Horizon, but I don't believe that would take her out of S. I don't even know if a slight nerf is necessary or would do good. Yeah, all the S are pretty balanced. I would just say small buffs for Ballistic Fuse, Octane, and Seer. I know people are going to probably not like the Seer one, but as a Seer main, I feel they went too far. I think just Ashe, Lifeline, and Rampart need actual buffs to at least make them balanced or somewhat usable. And I think Crypto, the reason he needs to be reworked is most people are not going to want to sit in a drone and play that way. It's just not fun. And the Mirage, he's fun to play. So, like, fun factor, he's like an A. And personality, like his character's an A. But, like, his abilities don't work good for ranked. In pubs, you'll catch people all the time and bamboozle them. Ranked, it's a lot harder just to bamboozle somebody. So that is my list. Let me know what you think. This is my first video. And I go by Alistair, my stream name. But this is Alex or Alistair, and I'll see you later.